In this week's episode of Motivational Minutes, disability advocate Chelsea Bear explains the importance of changing people's perceptions of those living with disabilities. In my conversations with successful people, especially CEOs or authors, perhaps, there are many common denominators that I see successful people having, but there are a lot of instances where I've heard that exact thing. Like the person will say, until I literally did the introspective of me
Mm-hmm.
and embraced all that I was and all I could be and all that I knew I could accomplish. When I became that person and that person walked into the room, I was unstoppable,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you're in that room and you're still like, well, I don't know, maybe I'm kind of sort of, you're having doubts about yourself. So you
Mm-hmm.
can't really deliver because you're too in your own head about, am I good enough?
Yeah.
So yeah, showing up as your authentic self means you're arriving, and as we said, take me. This is who I am,
Yeah.
and otherwise, go. I'm not the person for you
Yeah.
for this job or whomever, right? I
Exactly.
think that's excellent advice. And I do want to ask you a question too, just when it comes to the representation idea, the word disability. So we're trying to always nowadays just really make sure we're accurate in how we identify people. And then there's the political correct aspect too, which is a part of the component, and just so we can be uh, not disrespectful when we're addressing people. So, is the term disability, is it an okay term, or do you find it to be a term that's antiquated? Is there an alternative? I mean, what about the word disability?
I love the word disability. And I think the more I'm in this space, the more I'm learning about the language we use, the language we should use, the language we should avoid. And I've come to this personal opinion that by using the word disability and saying it proudly allows us to be more cohesive in our messaging, just as an entire community. Because when you use different words like differently abled, or there's a bunch of variations.
Able-bodied versus
Yeah,
non-able-bodied. That sounds worse,
yeah.
actually. You know.
There's so many different variations of things out there, and I think it kind of muddies the waters a little bit, and it's hard for people to understand what should we be doing. So I'm a huge advocate for saying the word disability, and yeah, just it and it's and again, going back to society's traditional views of disabilities, it is seen as something negative. It's seen as something, oh, I don't want to be disabled. But the reality is, people are very likely to become disabled at some point of their life, whether it's through aging, an accident, something like that. So something that I love to say, it's the one minority group that doesn't discriminate. Literally anybody can join it at any time. So I just think we're really working to shift the narrative on disability. It's not a scary thing. It's not a negative thing. And while it's traditionally perceived that way, we're just trying to change how it's perceived moving forward.
Subscribe today for more inspiration on the go.